The cameras flashed, the crowd froze, and just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession.
It really is the absolute peak of modern celebrity suspense.
Welcome to Starscope Report. Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And today, we are unpacking, well, a masterclass in how to control a narrative by pretending you just do not have one at all.
Right, exactly. Because if you've ever felt completely exhausted by, everyone oversharing every mundane detail of their lives on your feed, you'll understand exactly why today's subject is so fascinating.
Oh, absolutely.
We are pulling from a massive stack of sources today. We've got transcripts from E! News, timelines from Betches, plus international reports from the Free Press and Geo News.
There's a lot of ground to cover.
It really is. And we are unpacking the entire timeline of Bradley Cooper and Gigi Hadid. All of this was sparked by a seemingly simple 31st birthday gift that currently has the entire internet talking.
Yeah, because this story reveals so much about the shifting machinery of Hollywood public relations. I mean, we are so used to the early 2000s playbook, right?
Right, the staged magazine covers, the highly orchestrated paparazzi walks.
Exactly, and the publicists crafting those perfect, sterile statements. But this couple is operating on a completely different level. They've really mastered what you might call the quiet flex.
So I was looking at Gigi's Instagram from present day, April 2026. She is celebrating her 31st birthday on April 23rd.
Right.
And if you are a global supermodel, your birthday means your house is essentially transformed into a high-end botanical garden.
Oh, for sure.
She's posting her stories, showing off the standard PR flowers, the massive, perfect corporate bouquets from Tommy Hilfiger, the beautiful spread from Maybelline. It's standard protocol. But then you get to the showstopper.
That incredibly vibrant arrangement of yellow, pink, red, and white flowers.
Yes. And what strikes me isn't just the flowers themselves, it's the context. It is not pushed to the side on a kitchen island. It is sitting front and center, given the absolute position of honor on her dining room table. And the caption is just 2 words: my man.
It's so punchy.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because posting a vase on a dining table is like horticultural microphone dropping.
Yeah.
It's so casual, yet so incredibly loud. Are they intentionally weaponizing domesticity to keep the press at arm's length?
That is exactly what they're doing. That weaponized domesticity is the core of their strategy. And it is brilliant because it breaks down the parasocial wall.
Wow, yeah. By showing us a dining room table, they're projecting this image of just being normal people eating breakfast while simultaneously sending the tabloids into a frenzy.
Exactly. When a celebrity issues a formal statement about their relationship, it feels cold. It feels like a corporate merger.
Right.
But when they show you the corner of their dining table, it creates a psychological intimacy. The audience feels like they are being let in on a secret, like they're a friend receiving a casual text message.
And that yields vastly higher engagement and public goodwill than a staged photo shoot ever could, which perfectly explains their behavior at the 83rd Annual Golden Globes in January 2026.
Oh, that was a masterstroke in ambient PR.
I remember watching the coverage and realizing how intensely they were subverting expectations, because Bradley Cooper is a 12-time Oscar nominee. He is a pillar of the Hollywood establishment.
Yeah.
But for the 2026 Globes, he wasn't nominated for any eligible work. Historically, stars of his caliber might still show up to present, to walk the red carpet, to be seen maintaining their status.
But instead, they bypassed the Beverly Hilton entirely. They opted for a private dinner at Giorgio Baldi in Santa Monica.
Right.
And the visual contrast of that night was incredible, while the rest of Hollywood was suffocating in tuxedos and couture gowns.
Desperately trying to secure the right camera angles for social media.
Exactly. Gigi and Bradley looked like they had just rolled out of bed to run errands.
The outfits were amazing, honestly. Gigi was bundled up in this fuzzy white sweater, wearing jeans, brown loafers, and carrying a leather patchwork purse. And Bradley was rocking a puffer coat and a Philadelphia Eagles t-shirt.
Such a specific look.
On the night of one of the biggest industry galas of the year.
Well, the underlying message of the Eagles t-shirt is about power. The ultimate flex in Hollywood isn't being invited to the most exclusive room. It is proving that you don't need to be in the room to be the most talked about person of the night.
Wow, that's so true.
By dressing down while everyone else was dressing up, they dominated the news cycle purely through the contrast. It tells the public and the industry that their relevance is not tied to an award show cycle.
They project this image of being the perfect low-key couple right now. But the sheer level of calculation behind this casual aesthetic is wild. And wait till you hear the lengths Bradley went to for her milestone birthday exactly 1 year prior.
Oh, it gets so much deeper.
Because the massive secret they've been hiding since then completely changes how you view their dynamic. If you're loving these Hollywood twists and want to stay ahead of the curve, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead.
So to truly understand how they built the confidence to pull off this dining table hard launch, we have to look at the foundation of the relationship.
Right, back to the beginning.
Yeah, when they first started stepping out in October 2023, the initial hurdles were significant. They had a date at Via Carota in New York City.
Which is notoriously overpriced and incredibly difficult to get into.
Very much so.
It's the unofficial testing ground for celebrity romances. You go to Via Carota when you want to look like you aren't trying to be seen, but you absolutely know the paparazzi are waiting across the street.
And immediately, the internet zeroed in on the age gap. I mean, Bradley is 50, Gigi is 30. That is a 20-year difference.
The Betches article we pulled for this deep dive highlighted this perfectly. They wrote a satirical piece calling them age gap icons and completely reversed their ages for comedic effect.
Right, writing about 29-year-old Bradley and 49-year-old Gigi.
It highlighted how absurd and intense the internet commentary can get regarding power dynamics in Hollywood relationships.
And that skepticism is a real PR liability. When the public perceives a massive imbalance, whether it's age, wealth, or industry clout, they tend to reject the pairing as inauthentic.
So how do you legitimize the relationship in the eyes of a highly cynical public?
You focus on shared, grounded milestones that signal intellectual and creative parity. You don't take them to a flashy mega club, you take them to the theater.
Which is exactly what happened in November 2023. They were spotted at an off-Broadway play in the Village, Danny and the Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah.
And then, in February 2024, the strategy shifted from shared experiences to tangible public support. Bradley was photographed walking the streets of NYC, literally modeling Gigi's clothing line.
Right, wearing her $545 guest-in-residence striped crew sweater.
Exactly.
Having a global movie star turn the sidewalks of New York into an impromptu runway for your luxury knitwear brand is a profound endorsement. It communicates to the public that he is deeply invested in her as a businesswoman.
And it clearly resonated with her personally. By the time her Vogue interview dropped in March 2025, she explicitly praised his creative encouragement.
Yeah, she spoke about the importance of doing their own individual work separately so they could come together as the best possible partners.
She wasn't just talking about him as a boyfriend, she was framing him as a creative peer. Okay, but here is where I have to push back a little bit on this under-the-radar, indie theater-going narrative we are building.
Oh, really? Let's hear it.
Because it's easy to call them low-key when they are wearing sweaters in the Village. But look at April 2024. They went on a couple's vacation to Carmel by the Sea.
Right.
And they didn't go alone. They went with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
He did.
You cannot claim to be flying under the radar if you are double dating with Tavis. And then literally a month later in May, Bradley is spotted in the VIP tent at the Paris Eras Tour dancing to Ready for It.
I see your point.
It feels contradictory. How can you be the quiet luxury couple while simultaneously participating in the biggest, loudest pop culture circus of the decade?
Well, I think that contradiction is exactly what makes modern celebrity so fascinating. We tend to confuse privacy with isolation.
Okay.
For a modern A-list couple, privacy isn't about hiding in a bunker. It is about absolute control over the point of access. Going to the Eras Tour in a VIP tent isn't about offering themselves up to the tabloids.
It's about experiencing a massive cultural moment alongside their peers on their own terms.
Precisely. They control the narrative entirely.
So they are choosing when to turn the spotlight on and when to completely shut it off.
And if you want to see the mechanics of that control in action, look at how they handled Gigi's 30th birthday in April 2025. This was a masterclass in starving the traditional media while rewarding the loyal audience.
The Geo News report on this was so fascinating. Bradley planned the entire thing himself. He didn't outsource it to a flashy event planner to build a massive branded spectacle.
Right. He chose O Avenue at Saks in Midtown Manhattan.
And the guest list was locked down to her absolute inner circle, her parents, Yolanda and Mohammed, her sister Bella, plus a highly curated list of A-listers who are actually her close friends like Anne Hathaway, Emily Ratajkowski, and Zoe Kravitz.
The environment was tightly controlled. No paparazzi inside, no branded step and repeat. And the way Gigi shared this with the world weeks later is the defining tactic of the modern influencer era.
She didn't sell an exclusive photo spread to People magazine.
No. On May 3rd, 2025, she went Instagram official, but she utilized the photo dump format.
She buried the lead so deeply. She posted a 20-slide carousel. You literally had to swipe through 15 photos of her friends, her family, the venue, and random aesthetic shots before you got to the confirmation everyone's waiting for.
A photo of her and Bradley making out next to a gorgeous chocolate cake.
That specific mechanism, hiding the biggest news on slide 16, is brilliant.
It is brilliant for two reasons. First, the social media algorithms heavily reward watch time and swipe-through rates. By hiding the prize at the end, she guarantees maximum engagement from her followers.
Right.
Second, it strips the tabloids of their power. You cannot write a sensationalized, breathless headline when the celebrity is casually tossing the photo into a digital scrapbook alongside pictures of a salad. It neutralizes the spectacle.
It totally neutralizes it, and it proves they're operating as a deeply unified team. Later in the deep dive, we'll talk about the shocking twist nobody saw coming and the secret career pivot Bradley pushed Gigi into. That changed everything.
And that pivot is what reveals the hidden layer of their dynamic. E! News recently dropped a fascinating detail showing this isn't just a romantic partnership. It is a full-blown creative alliance.
Because Bradley didn't just casually support her cashmere line, he actively pushed her to stretch her boundaries and step into his world. He mentored her through an audition for a massive studio tentpole.
Yeah, he actually encouraged Gigi to audition for the role of Rapunzel in Disney's live-action adaptation of Tangled.
Making the leap from supermodel to the lead of a live-action Disney film is a monumental undertaking. The pressure is astronomical.
Absolutely.
Now, the sources note she didn't end up getting the part. That role ultimately went to Tegan Kroc, who is actually filming it right now in 2026, alongside Milo Manheim and Kathryn Hahn. But the casting result isn't the story here.
No, the story is the mentorship. Consider the psychological weight of having a 12-time Oscar nominee, a man who has directed and starred in some of the most acclaimed films of the last decade, guiding you through the vulnerable process of a high-stakes screen test.
It requires an immense amount of trust.
It does. It shows that he views her potential through a lens that extends far beyond her established identity in the fashion industry. He is actively using his industry capital to help her unlock a new phase of her career.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? It's like watching two successful solo artists realize they actually make a better supergroup.
That's a great way to put it.
Do you think their high-profile pasts, Bradley with Irina Shayk, Gigi with Zayn Malik, actually gave them the blueprint for how to do this one right?
The evidence strongly points to that. When you survive a highly scrutinized public breakup, you learn very quickly what boundaries are non-negotiable.
Right.
Gigi's comments in that Vogue interview about knowing what you deserve really underscore this. They didn't stumble into this dynamic. They consciously engineered it to protect their families.
Which makes the news from the Free Press so impactful. Because all of these carefully curated moments, the private birthdays, the audition prep, the quiet dinners in Eagles gear, were building the foundation for something permanent.
Yeah.
According to those reports, Bradley Cooper has officially proposed to Gigi Hadid.
It is the logical conclusion to everything we've been tracking.
They are planning a massive 2026 wedding, and what really stands out is how seamlessly they have integrated their wider support systems. They already have the full blessings of Gigi's parents, Yolanda and Mohammed.
But crucially, they have the blessing of Bradley's mother, Gloria. Anyone familiar with Bradley Cooper's career knows that his relationship with his mother is the emotional center of his life.
She is a constant presence at his premieres and award shows.
Exactly. Winning her approval is paramount. But again, Gigi was doing the foundational work out of the spotlight. Back in January 2024, after the Golden Globes, Gigi wasn't walking the red carpet on his arm.
No, instead she was spotted at Giorgio Baldi for an after-party dinner, specifically bonding with Gloria. She was cementing her place in his family structure long before the public understood the gravity of the relationship.
And the ultimate metric of their success in this second act is the blending of their children.
The sources highlight that Bradley's 8-year-old daughter Leah and Gigi's 4-year-old daughter Kai are reportedly getting along wonderfully.
Yeah, the environment is so stable that there are even reports of the couple discussing expanding their family.
Blending two A-list families under the intense, unforgiving glare of the media spotlight is incredibly difficult, and they seem to be navigating it with zero friction.
Because they built the friction-proof walls first. They established their private sanctuary before they ever invited the public to look at it.
Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next in the world of Hollywood power couples. Because if they handle their wedding anything like they handled the last 3 years, we're going to be analyzing it for a very long time.
Oh, without a doubt. It redefines what a power couple looks like.
It leaves you with a final, lingering thought to explore on your own. We are so conditioned to think of celebrity relationships as performative public property.
The grand declarations, the magazine covers.
Exactly. But perhaps in 2026, the ultimate luxury in Hollywood isn't a red carpet debut. Maybe true power is having the ability to keep your deepest milestones, from private movie auditions to blending families and planning a wedding completely to yourself.
Until you decide to post a simple picture of some flowers on a table.
Right. But it introduces a fascinating new question. If this quiet flex becomes the new gold standard for A-list PR, will it eventually lose its power?
That's the big question.
Once the anti-spectacle becomes the new baseline, you have to wonder if the next generation of stars will feel forced to revert back to the chaotic, oversharing, early 2000s tabloid behavior just to stand out from the silence.
The pendulum of pop culture always swings back eventually.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.